Recording. Okay, I hope everyone see the stream. Okay, nice. So welcome people to the second consultancy for marketing market research. So like last time, the expectation for this consultancy is not I'm teaching you anything, and I'm not also not gonna give you a very detail on anything, but I can just tell you about the situation and the guiding, and then from that we can share and we can raise a lot of questions because in this space, I expect that you can give a lot of questions that maybe we can share the answer and we can share the learning. How you can find this document, I can send you the link again, but then on the link is including in this link. Yeah, on in, everything gonna include in this link. So I will say you here, and also this is the link to the document. Okay, so I would say briefly for last time. So for last time, what we're talking about is we talk about the big picture of the market research and what kind of research that we should take. So today we're gonna talk about the competitor analysis and the segmentation and also the buyer persona. So that in the buyer persona we can go through what can be included in the survey and how we can uh, do the focus group, for example. And then I think for the part of data analysis, last time people suggest in this part, I think in May you can implement the market research, and then at the end of May I can have another space that we consultancy that we can talk about how we can analyze the data and how we can draw the conclusion, this kind of thing. And then everything about marketing and sales funnel or customer behavior here, you can done it with your objects people. Yeah. Okay, blah blah blah. So let's go through. Last time, we talked about example, the type market research, and from the type market research, we have this kind of thing. Yep. So in this kind of thing, just to remind again that we have primary research and secondary research, and in the primary research, we have micro external that we can choose which type of research that we want, like explore specific. So this kind of research can be helpful for the new internship program when we need to explore a new buyer persona or we need to explore a new market and want to understand about what kind of sub-product can be suitable for this kind of people. And then this kind of analysis is helpful for us to understand about the COVID situation and how it's gonna affect to the industry. And also it can help us to understand for the current product with GTV, and we can develop the product of GTV based on this kind of research. Here, so I'm gonna go very brief through the macro analysis last time. So in the macro analysis, last time we talked about Besto and Price for. We don't go very detailed, but then, for example, if you want to understand about the external environment of your entity as a whole, with your MC team, then Besto can be the best tool for you. But then, if you want to understand about the industry, which is education industry, similar with Isaac, then Firefox gonna be the tool. And now today we're gonna talk about understand your competitor. So in this case, we can use SWOT. So I will just go directly to the SWOT part. Okay, cool. So in the SWOT, I think that everyone already know about this part, but then SWOT here is not understand about ourselves, but then we need to understand about our competitor. And from this kind of thing, we can see how we can evaluate or we can leverage our strength to cover for the weakness of the competitor, or we can use the opportunity that only ASEC have. So the research step that you can think of, you can take when you do a SWOT analysis for the competitor, is first you need to list down who are your direct and indirect competitor. So I would say, for example, direct is the competitor that directly deliver the similar service like Isaac, but then indirect competitor is also other opportunity. It may be not exchange, it may be not education, it can be like something else like online course, for example, but then it solve the customer problem also. So when we do the analysis, we need to understand and list down all of the direct and indirect people in your market, and also define what is the service that they usually offer better than you. So I would say, for example, you can notice on for the direct competitor, you can look into which internship company deliver a better service than you or have a better brand than you. Then these are the things that you can consider when you understand about the direct and indirect. Okay, and then after you choose list down all of them, then we're gonna go to analyze the success and the good case from this company. So it's usually you can look into the marketing and the sale. So for marketing, it can be about the brand positioning, the marketing strategy, the social appearance of that company or that organization, and how the engagement, and also university relation. Why I say university relation is important is because in some case we can see that actually because the basic of Isaac is university relation. So UR relation is something that other company and organization they can get better if they have a better legal approval something. So in this case, in Isaac case, we need to worry about this kind of thing also. And second is about the sale process. So for example, I would say we can understand about the tactic that company provide for us. I would say, for example, how to say so for example, education first, which is kind of a similar competitor with Isaac because they also provide the exchange in a short day. But then what is the thing that they deliver better than us in the sale event is they deliver the sale event for parents, and in the sale event for parents, and also sale tactic. Whenever they do any kind of sale, they're gonna have a space to invite both parents and the kid to come to the space to console for them. So they not do the console for the young people like us only. I would say, for example, so this is something that they can do is very good because they have a good relationship with the government. Yeah, so this is something that can be the good case we look into. And then from that kind of thing, we're gonna list down all of the SWOT analysis of our competitor, strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. And after you list down everything, don't compare based on the amount of strength and weakness checklist, but then compare on the way of impact. So after we list down everything, we can scale it from 1 to 10. So for example, if I was back to the example of Baron, for example, if a Baron go to the sale event, it can be a good strength of education first. So we're gonna and it can impact a lot on the decision making process of customer. So based on this kind of thing, we can scale this point E9 or A, for example. And that is something that we need to look into for our competitor, and we can wait. So based on, so for example, if they can talk with Baron, and this kind of thing is one of the strengths that they have, that and it's also the weakness of asset, then how we can solve this problem. Yeah, and after you analyze this kind of thing, then the last step is just we think about how we can grow our market share. Usually, we can choose that what are the strengths that Isaac offer and other competitor doesn't offer. So I would say, for example, one thing that we can draw out is the leadership experience support or the leadership development process. This kind of thing is something that other organizations they don't deliver, and it's gonna be significant strain of Isaac. Or we can think about the opportunity that doesn't competitor doesn't have. So I would say, just for example, if we start to have the government support, and this is the opportunity that no one has, for example. And after you understand the word for the new product, for the new GTA and GTE, the way forward after we analyze the competitor is we can base on two ways. The first way is if we see that in the market there is a trend of going internship or going abroad, and a lot of company is providing this kind of the same service, then we can understand that okay, going internship abroad is a trend in this market, and you can join the trend so that you can become a part of the trend. But then, for example, In some other case, not for internship, but then for other situation, like in this market, there's a trend of going internship in the country, but no one have ever think about going internship in other country. So I'm gonna be the one who created part of 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 company in this market share. So or we follow the trend, or we create a new thing that no one have done this before. I would say in this case, you can look into the example of Lifebuoy when they start to have the sanitizer, when they start to create a whole industry for themselves, for the sanitizer and hand washing soap. I would say, for example. And then also for TV, which is the current strategy marketing that we are doing. We don't need to launch the new market. So, but in this case, understand about competitor can make us develop the market share contribution in the whole market. I would say, for example, if in one university, 20% of the students gonna go on exchange with university, then how many of them gonna go on exchange with Isaac? Like we want to have, like in the past we only have 20%, but then right now we want to be 40% of the student in this university. If they choose to go on the chain, they're gonna go with Isaac, for example. So this is how we can utilize this kind of tool to understand that what kind of strategy that we want to approach in the market. It's cool, right? Yeah. So this is the moral. Yes, I think you already know about this. And I think you can check into this example, so that you can understand about it, or also this example of Netflix, so that, for example, if I want to open another um, company similar to Netflix, then what can be the strength and weakness that Netflix already provide that I didn't have before. So I would say, for example, recently Google realized that Netflix allow people to watch, but then they limit the number of screen that can watch at the same time. So they only maximum allow for 4 people. So Google understand about this weakness, and from this weakness, they create intention on Google Chrome that allow us to watch on more screen at the same time. I would say, for example, so it's also and this feature also coming from understand the weakness that the current competitor in the market doesn't allow. Yeah. Yeah. So the question that you can understand about direct competitor is here, that who are the one that deliver the same product, and the one that not provide the same product, but they also solve the customer problem. Yeah. So in this part, I would like to see that do you have any question, or are you working on any competitor analysis that you have a lot of concern in this case? You can type a question in the chat so that we can check through and we can see. Mm-mm. Any university club? Are you? Yes, I would say university club can be competitor, but also can be like the partner at the same time. I would say in my university, I have one example. They have they are the social activity club something, so they provide the do they look like the local volunteer. So at first this can be the competitor, because people can spend the same time not go on exchange in other country, but going exchange in the same country. So in this case, in the first year, they are our competitor, very direct competitor. But then in the next year, we figure out that if these people, after they do local volunteer with this with this club, then in the next year they can go on explore more the world. They also volunteer, but then globally, so that they can have both local and local mindset, so that they can understand about the customer in the market better, so that we run some campaign similar, like going globally to understand and love your local market more, for example. So and from that understanding, I'm start to partnership with this club, and after I partnership with them, I teach them about SDG. And after I teach them about SDG, I suggest them, okay, so if you already do good in the local, then how about looking to a global experience? Yeah, so this can be the example for you to understand. Yeah. Tip that look for the type of activities students like to do. For example, in Thailand, people love doing fun things. So the more fun things so, the more they want to join. Yes, cool. I agree with this kind of thing. Like Carlos, you can share about this tip if you have an example.
Yeah, I have a clear example of, well, it's not going to sound that good, but there was a BP that in IS activities, she was never there. But she is in a club of sports where they do like funny activities. Instead of when they want information or when they're doing recruitment, what they do is that they're playing music or funny instruments and singing funny songs in Thai. So it's like
Mm,
she was really participating into that one, but not in ISEC. And there's a lot of people that actually are looking for doing that kind of funny stuff. Like they like to display funny.
mm, yeah,
Yeah.
true. Cool. Yeah, this is something that very interesting because sometimes we need to figure out, okay, so are we gonna follow the trend of other club also, or are we gonna create a totally new trend for the student? So both way is still okay. Yeah, but then, yeah. What if the competitor is not organization or company, but they are one-time exchange program or opportunity? For example, Wasili regional workshop and other fully fund opportunity. They count. Tough time to examples. Yes, I think they are count as I would say they can be count as indirect competitor because the service that they provide in the workshop and the service we provide in exchange, but then the same problem that we are solving is uh, development of the people and this kind of thing. So I would say in this kind of thing you can consider you need to come up with what is the problem that we are trying to solve with this kind of people, and is there any one that's solving it with another way. So based on this kind of thing, you can list down everything. List down all of the indirect competitor in this way, so that you are not missing anyone. And I would say this kind of competitor analysis can be very helpful if you do with your LC, because in because for example, Vasily can be the competitor of the whole asset in general, but then also in the market we have the club. Yeah. So I say in Europe have a tough time doing to do to Erasmus, and I say in Romania play is smart and did a partnership with them. Yes, correct. So I still remember that for the competitor, actually sometimes we can choose to live happily with them. In this case, I think for example, Wisely, if we consider them that they are as competitor, and they but has they have some strength. Like for example, they have fully fund workshop or fully fund exchange. But then, what is the thing that they are missing? I would say, for example, after they go on Wasili, to be honest, I see Wasili is something that not highly engagement like Isaac, for example, or they are not focused on leadership development. They focus on the social impact more. So in this kind of case, we can figure out how we can use our strength to cover for their weakness, and then we can collaborate. Um, if we are a small, if you are a small and a new product that want to penetrate in the market, and so the best way to penetrate in the new market is you work with your competitor and you collaborate with the competitor. But then, for example, but then at the same time, you need to ensure that if you collaborate with them, you need to significantly outstanding the strength that only us have. Yeah, so that's why, so that the customer not gonna like they cannot how say differentiate between organization. But then if you say that your product is quite have a good brand awareness in the market, then actually you don't need to collaborate with them. So this is how you can work with them. Yeah. So is it clear for you? And how about other people? Do you have any question? I see that in this case, maybe internship have a lot of competitor. Yes. Thank you. Cool. How about other people? The internship, the GT people. Ba. Or if you think it's cool, then you can wait, and you think that it's good for it's the information is enough for you to actually implement that. We can go to next page. You can waive, or you can say no concern in the chat so that I can know. Mm-mm. Okay, guys, if you have no concern, let's just wait so that I can know. Okay, cool. All good, all good. Oh, cool. Okay, so after we understand about the best, so we understand about the industry. We read the industry report. We do the analysis with the competitor. So this, as a whole, the macro external analysis can help you to like to help you to understand about externally environment as a whole. And from this kind of thing, you can choose to leverage the strength, or you can choose the opportunity that you are having in the whole industry, so that you can, from that you can define the strong positioning of Isaac in that market. So after you finish the macro analysis, we can talk about the micro analysis. So in a macro analysis, I would say, so the thing that we're gonna talk today is about audience segmentation, and especially I see that for the new internship we have different type of audience segmentation. So how we can find the right people to do attraction right now. Um, so I would say for the segment type, we have a lot of type of segment. We can segment based on demographic, segment based on which is like the age, the gender, the income, education. Maybe our intern, our EP doesn't have marriage yet, but then they're gonna have like some status like graduate gap year, for example. So everything about the demographic of the customer, where are they living, the budget, the timeline, everything gonna belong to the demographic. The second type is psychographic. So this psychographic gonna belong to who are our customer and what is their personality. So it's gonna be more about the personality, the attitude, the value, and the interest they have. So for example, the personality of the people who want to go on internship is usually the one that are very career driven. They are very serious with their life, with their career, and they want to looking for the real experience, for example. So this is psychographic. And then the behavior is, so from the personality that we understand above, then what is the action of these people? So for, I say, for example, what is the in this kind of thing, it can be the habit. The habit is they usually looking for information on event, or right now they're looking for information in by word of mouth or referral, for example. And then they actually they usually join a lot of external activity. Or for example, for GV people, they have never joined any social activity before. Geography is about the location. So the location here, I would say for it can be applied um, in the way that you do the LC allocation, the based on the region. Um, yeah. So in this case, it maybe not have a lot for us in doing the marketing strategy, but marketing campaigns. But it can have a lot for us in the way that we allocate the LC market, especially for the entity that you have a very complicated market. Yeah. The fifth one is the need pay. So for example, this type of people are the one that need to have a real intensive experience. or these are the people that want to like for example, when I work with Japan, all of the EP are the one that want to create social impact beside the studying that they are doing. So this is the need that they have, and then the value base is usually based on the economic value or specific customer group. Like I would say, for example, how to say, what example? Um, for example, the value. So, for example, the value base of this university is they are value the real experience. The value of this university, they value the studying or the theory. The like they refer more on going study from the workshop or study on the student at the school, for example. So, if we penetrate in the new market and we want to segmentation, and then we figure out that this university they really love to go on workshop and study in the school, they are not referred to go out and like going approach, then maybe it's not um, a potential market for us to do marketing. I just have some note that in this segment type, they actually another type that I didn't mention here is about technology. So technology is like this type of people they're gonna use a mobile more or laptop more, or they use the app or they go to website, for example. But then in the case of Isaac, it's not a very big problem for us to segmentation. But if you want, then you still can do it. And also you don't need to do every segment, do include all segment type at the same time. You need to choose the most suitable type of segmentation based on the product development stage. I would say, for example, if you explore the new market and you want to launch the new product, the new GT, then you need to do demographic so that you can understand about the budget of the EP, and based on understand the budget, can you can know how many what is the pricing they can pay. But then, for example, in terms of like GV, you already know that your target customer, but then you want to understand more about the behavior, then you can choose the behavior segmentation. And also at the same time, we can make 2 to 3 segmentation type at the same time so that we can have different group of people. Yeah, it's very tiered. And the basic step that you can look into is first you need to have the goal, because the segment we have a lot of way to do segmentation, and based on the segmentation goal we can choose which type of segment we want to choose here to segment our customer, and then you segment them into group, and after you segment them you target and you reach your customer to understand about you reach those people. So for example, marketing, you can look into the stranger, you can look into the new lead on how you can do attract the lead or brand awareness. But then for sale, we can look into inside the funnel, like the qualified lead or the dropout lead or the old lead, so that we also can do the behavior understanding. Um, and another thing is for CSP, so it can be about the result and the support that we can provide for them to experience. But then in this case, I would suggest that if you synergy with OJEX, it's mainly about marketing and sell. Sell. Either main focus you need to focus on to build your funnel, and then you analyze the customer segment and just make adjustment if you need. Okay, so I will give you some example so that you can understand what the fuck I'm talking about, because the step is very simple, but how you actually do it is not simple. Okay, so first I will show you one example that I do when I was OGV Vietnam. So in this case of segmentation, the goal that I want to do have a strategy is I want to penetrate and develop new market in my whole entity, so that we can have more key market, because I want to increase the number of key market. But then there's a lot of market that I have no experience before, or we never do anything in university relation. So in this kind of thing, I need to mix the demographic, and demographic is like where they're living, the major they study, the budget, the year of studying, the timeline. For example, so I would choose what's either the demographic and information that it can be helpful the most for me to understand about the customer. I would suggest here, if you want to do it for GT, new internship, then you need to ask about the background of internship or the background of working before. Because right now, as I see that a lot of partners, they expect that these people, they have 1 year or 2 year experience. So we can also choose this criteria in a part in the demographic. Secondly, I need to understand about the common behavior so that I can choose the channel. So in this case, I question about what is the channel they usually visit. For example, online, offline. What is the activity they usually do? So are they participate in any workshop or seminar in university or not? Or they usually just study the online course, for example? And then where they usually come to. So for example, I see that they usually go to the coffee shop in front of the university to do teamwork. So I can choose that coffee shop can be a channel for me to do physical attraction if I want to understand this to penetrate with this market. And then the next one is the psychographic segmentation. So I understand and about the pain and the gain in general. And usually in the pain and gain, you can see that people are gonna have three pain and they have one nightmare. So from three pain, they usually have one of the biggest nightmare. And from three gain, they usually have a universal dream. And from this graphic, I can understand about the general of this market of this segment. Yeah. So also the second step is this is just a minor step in this case because we can have a lot of people suitable for us to penetrate in the new market. But then how many? What is the scale of this market? Whether the scale is big enough to invest? So in this case, after I understand about my segment, I do the segment size, which is the market size, and I use the top-down method to do it. Yeah, as you can see here. So this is the first example. The second example I would say is right now I don't want to penetrate in the new market. Right now, I already run GB for a long time, and I already run ISEC for a long time, and I want to understand about the brand awareness and the brand health of our product. So in this case, how can I do? So this is one of the project that I did before with Nelson about brand health check. So the goal here is we want to understand about the whole marketing and sales process and customer support so that we can understand that whether customers consider ASEC as a good opportunity for them to go on the chain or not, or are they consider that we are how say we are a top of mind when they think about develop leadership. So in this kind of way, we have business objective. We want to enhance the asset awareness in this market, and we have the research objective. We want to evaluate the current brand awareness in the market, so that we can know about the percentage of how many students know about ASEC, how many students understand about the ASEC leadership, how many students are consider how are they perceive about ASEC in general. So I think you can also do the same, but then you can do for GV awareness or GT awareness. So it's also the same objective, but then it's more deeper into the product. And also, we want to understand and evaluate the asset promotion activity in university so that we can see whether in this university, if the asset information we provide for them is able to reach out more students, or how we can do something to improve and demonstrate the brand. In the case that for some, like some university, the brand of ASEC is very negative, and then if this is the case, how we can give the brand awareness strategy for this market. Yeah. So this is a very long time project before, but then I think it's quite cool. Yeah, because we have now some supporter. So how we customize, how we category of the customer if we based on the year of study, university, and engage with ISEC. So year of study, university is everything related to the demographic. Sometimes university can give us the insight about behavior. So it's a little bit mixed in behavior and the demographic, but then mainly year of study and university is the demographic. And from the demographic, we talk about behavior with Isaac. So this in this case is the engagement with Isaac. So from here, we have first year and second year. We choose two criteria to differentiate because for the year of study, we have the main customer is first year and second year and third year and fourth year. So we divide them into two groups. And then for university, so at that time in Vietnam, we have two types of university, which is public university, and second is the private and international. So for the private and international university, they of course um, they have more budget to go on the chain. But then at the same time, like we divide like this is because they may have more budget to go on the chain with us, but then at the same time, their timeline is very different with the public timeline. So we need to classify into these two type of group. Okay, and then here engage with Isaac. So we choose two type of people. The people that superly stranger and not engage with Isaac before. They just join some club or organization or they even don't do anything. The second one is we choose the one that aware about Isaac, so they can be the customer with Isaac already. They can be returnee or they can be the one that joy you speak before, or or local volunteer before any activity that already engaged with Isaac. In this kind of group, because we have six criteria, so we divide into eight group. First year, second year, public. Uh, oh no, I'm sorry. First year, secondary, public, joy, Isaac. First year, second year, driver, haven't joy before. Third year and second year, public, joy, Isaac. Third year and fourth year, public, already Isaac. So based on this copying, I think that you can understand the logic that we divide that. So based on the mix of these six criteria, how many group we have here. And then when we do the research with these people, I would say, for example, you can do research with on a group together. But then at the same time, if you consider that which group can be the one that you want to focus more and you want to understand more, then you can have more people. And then based on this kind of thing, we start after we have the group divide. We start to looking for the resource of these people. So for the people who already joined Isaac event like EY before, we're gonna contact them based on the USpeak database, or we're gonna contact them based on uh, like on the fan base of USpeak, for example. So we're asking them that so I think Vietnam is doing a brand a customer support understanding, for example. So we don't say brand health because customer don't understand about brand health. We say something that they understand. So I think Vietnam we do this kind of thing, and we because you join as an event, so we would like you to join this kind of thing. And also for the totally stranger, what we do is we also promote it in the national page, and also we ask LC support to provide us with contact with their friend or the people in the class, for example, and ask the people to join to become in the focus group. And from this kind of thing, we had a schedule here to based on we had a schedule based on the segmentation, and we do the focus group interview with them. In this scalping, we based on this scalping, the output that we have at that time is we understand about okay with the people that they engage with Isaac already, but they haven't go on the chain E because they want to they are already 30 and 4 year and they don't have time, for example. Then this cannot be a good segment that we can focus. Then, for example, I would say in the first year and second year, um, who don't know about Isaac, and we figure out that they are all always have the wish that they want to develop leadership, but then they don't have any opportunity at that time to do. So first year and second year is the potential for us to give them the leadership experience, for example. Yeah. So yeah. So this is the example of how we do the segmentation. Um, yeah. Based on the example, you can understand what I'm saying. That we have the goal first, and from the goal we segment based on group, different group, and we after we segment we contact them, and after we contact them we do the research and offer group, or we do the survey and then we analyze the insight. Yep. So in this kind of case, do you have any question, or do you have any concern, or you are doing in segmentation for new product but you have a lot of things that you don't understand? You can put in the chat so that I can help you to answer. Or do you, or if you think it's good to go, then you can say good to go, or you can put the question so I can know. Or and this is the space for you to give your real example so that we can solve the case that you are having concern. Mm, mm, mm. Come on, girl. Come on, boys. On good? Any
Good.
question?
No.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. We have one question. Do we have to have different person for different segmentation? Mm, what do you mean? Like a different person now? Um, Usually we have different person now, but then for different segmentation, yes, for different segmentation, after we do the research, we can draw out a different persona. But then for in some case, it can be similar in some part, and it's just only different in some certain part. For I would say, for example, 30 and second year, fourth year and third year, they are the same in behavior, in pain and gain, for example. But then when we do research, we figure out that um, the first year and second year have more potential because they want to go on the chain, for example, and they have this kind of pain and gain. I would say, for example, so based on this kind of thing, we can have different bio persona. So from all of the segment, from all of the A group of segmentation, for example, we choose the two or three bio persona that we super want to focus on, and we want to form this segmentation. We're gonna solve the problem for those people, or we can have strategy for those people. Um, yeah. Can a persona belong to more than one segmentation? Yes, they can. So bio persona is coming from a lot of factor, because it also coming from the pain and gain, something this kind of thing. But then um, they can belong to more segmentation. But then this segmentation is just a tool that help you to understand, okay, in a big buyer persona that we are looking for. So usually when we create a product, we need to understand that what kind of people I want to see in this product. Or we talk with the partner, or what kind of EB you want to have to go on the chain. And from this kind of thing, we have a draft understanding about who are the one that we want to looking for. But then from this bio persona, when we do segmentation and interview, we realize that this segmentation is not cannot go on the chain. Even they have the bio persona that we require, because they having timeline restriction, for example. Or with the development seeker, we can see that both third year and fourth year, and second year and third year and first year have the same need in leadership development. So this is something that can be happen. Yeah. You determine the persona, you find segmentation. Yes. Yes, correct. And also, if you notice, I have one minor step. I doing the market sign. So if these people fit my segmentation, if this person fit the segmentation, but then, for example, the market size is too small, then I would consider if I need to focus on this or not. Or if I see that they are big enough for us to penetrate, then I can um, do the size bigger. Yeah, cool. Do you have any GCB to share how to downscale this segmentation to LC? Uh, Yep. So for the first one is for if you want to penetrate and develop in new market, I have example. Yeah, at that time it's one of the. Okay, so if you have any concern, we can come to this sheet. One. I can share with you the link. I can share the thing that I did last time. So basically I lose the material, but then basically when I come to display and I research, I define the bio persona that and in the segment that's suitable the most for us in university. And from that kind of thing, I define that the market size. So for example, this bio persona in this segment is suitable for me to do attraction, and the size that that I have from these people is around this amount of sign up based on the conversion rate in the past and a lot of things that I consider. So I would do a sum that okay, in this LC if they handle these three university, how many sign up expectedly they can gain, how many sign up more that they can get more. So if I see that if they handle 5 university at the same time, but then actually only 2 LC of this 5 give them can have a lot of segmentation that fit with the bio persona we expect, and also the scale is actually very big, but then we haven't explored. Then the direction I give for this LC is you only need to focus on these 2 university to make them to grow the market share in this university, and then the rest of the 5 of the other 3 market I give to another LCVP in the same LC. So at that time I divide my whole OGV structure into OGV development to penetrate and to grow the market share of the people that already big and can have more potential to make it bigger. And then I divide the second OGV expansion to penetrate in the new market. So these people is the one that they do the segmentation, and also they after they do segmentation and bio persona, they try to do brand awareness so that they can improve brand awareness in the new market. And from here, if the brand awareness is improving, then how they can gain more people to go on the chain, or they can be the one who try out with a lot of market so that they can figure out who can be the next market that uh, become the key market for us. So at that time, we change the whole OGV structure in the entity into one FC have 2 OGV. And the base of this OGV, they need to be super strong in marketing and market understanding. I would say, for example. But then if other people, if you have any GCB here, you can also share. So you can type here, and then I can allow you to the space to share. Yeah. Can I ask a stupid question? Nola, any difference between buyer persona and customer persona? Yeah, no different. It's also about the people who buy our product, so it's no different. Yeah, I think it's just different way of talking. Cool. Okay, anyone else? Customer, the EB who experienced buyer who put the money. Yes, correct. So, customer is the one that already approved. So anyone purchase for your product, after they purchase, they are customer. But then the one who they are customer, or for example in other industry, you can read that they say consumer, because like for example if I sell the food, if I work in a food and beverage industry, people gonna use the word consumer. So consumer or customer is also the same. But then the buyer, in this case, we usually not we use the word buyer. This is correct, but then I usually use the word lead so that we can understand about the people that who are willing to have a good buying power to buy our product. Yeah, but this is correct. Yeah. No, but the buyer, the one who put the money, yes, can be parent or can be the EB. But how we differentiate it based on the customer flow. Yeah. If in the case that the buyer is a different one, then I think your marketing strategy and the segment that you have is segment the parent that have a case study in this market. Yeah, I hope it's clear. But if you are not clear, you can ask more. Okay. How about other people? Okay, if it's all good, you can wait so that we can go to the last one. Cool. You can ask me more on this. Okay. Okay, so after we have this after we have the segmentation, we need to do buyer understanding, right? So for buyer understanding, we have two ways to understand it. The first thing that I just tell you is about if you remember about the big picture here. If you remember about the big picture here, the segmentation or the thing that we just discussed right now is the way that we explore the market. After we explore the market, we need to do a specific research so that we can go deeper into two or one segment that we think that it fit with our product, and it can be the key buyer, but the one that we are looking for. And from this, we can understand the pain and the gain, the value, the everything, so that we can provide a better marketing strategy and product for them. So that's why we have this thing, focus group by person. So for the focus group, this for the focus group interview, in this focus group, what we can understand and draw out mostly for this kind of thing is we can have a marketing campaign idea for us. So if you doing a survey, what you can usually gain is you can gain about the market in general, and you know who you should. It can be helpful for you to do like Facebook ad, for example. But then focus group can give you campaign big idea and customer insight. So I would say, for example, I would want to do a focus group interview to gain the insight from my customer so that I can implement a marketing campaign. I would say in this case, when we have global with asset campaigns incoming and we need to customize, we need to understand that how we can customize for the market, because the situation that I observe in AB right now is we some of not only in AB but in general is we basically bring the whole content from AI in our way of doing marketing, but then we don't explore and we don't talk about what is the customer thinking or what is the insight from the customer. So in this case, I would explain here for you. If you want to have a draw insight for the whole campaign big idea, you need to it have to be the mix of brand truth, consumer truth, or customer truth. Consumer or customer is the same, and category truth. So in this case, when you have the truth of this segmentation, so you interview the group one of segmentation, and you ask them the question about brand truth, consumer truth, and category truth. And from all of these questions, you can draw out that okay, these people they have the insight. I would say, for example, one insight. A I the consumer truth is I am a first year student, and I'm started looking for a lot of development experience because the friend around me they develop very fast right now. And then and when I'm looking for personal development, I looking for instead of having a local experience, I'm looking for in a globally experience so that I can open my mind and become the work citizen. So that's in the category truth. And when I look into this kind of experience, and when I look into a global opportunity, I realize that Isaac is a good opportunity for me, or I realize that GV is a good um, program that I can take into. So this is the brand truth, for example. So from this kind of thing, we can understand that what is everything about the customer, and from this kind of thing, what can be the marketing campaign that we can do for them. And then why I give the example about with asset campaign is because we in the with asset campaign we talk very good about the brand truth. We talk that okay, asset is good, our experience is good, this kind of thing. But then at the same time, what we are missing is what is the exactly the leadership that the customer in our entity they need to develop, why they want to develop leadership, and how we can actually talk with them about Isaac, about leadership from the customer inside. So I would say, for example, instead of just posting a content about this experience is good for you, then I can start about create a series of viral video that talking about different type of Vietnamese student or different type of Thailand student that's struggling with our life, and I can zoom into the real story of these people, telling the pain and the gain that they're having. Like for example, I have a big pressure from my parents, study, go home, parent pressure, career pressure. But then the thing that I want to know is leadership development, blah blah blah. And then after we talk about the story from the customer inside, then we can start to talking about the product. And in this case, um and in this case, the reason why I mentioned about this is when you understand about these three things, your campaign big idea gonna be the thing that differentiate you differentiate your country with other country campaign implementation or campaign customization, because we talking about leadership, but then leadership can be understand with Vietnamese student in different way, or leadership can be understand for Thailand student in different way. Some big, like for example in Vietnam they treasure self awareness, or in Thailand they treasure work citizen, for example. So it have to be different a bit. So I would say some example that we have done before. This is not me do it, but this is my marketing do it, and then I do it with him. So the question that you can ask yourself to understand is this kind of question. So in category truth, what is the question that we usually can ask ourselves is what kind of experience or opportunity that young people in this college usually looking for, or what is the how do they think about volunteer approach, or how they think about study by real experience, but not study in the but not education in a formal way. So how they think about non-formal education, or how they think how do they think about the effective of real experience, for example. So everything that make you understand about the category here, and out category is like exchange, non-formal education. So everything that you can ask them to see that, okay, if these people they have bio persona that fit my bio persona, but then are they consider going abroad is a solution, or are they having any mind about going abroad or not? Because in this case, before like for some students they refer formal education more, so maybe they are not gonna be the one that suitable for us. And then second is the consumer or customer. So in this kind of thing, we can ask about what is the value, or what is the benefit of the product or asset they give for them. So if we want to ask about leadership in general, then we can ask them, why do students need leadership? Why do you think third year students need leadership? And why do you think that volunteer abroad can help you to develop leadership? So in this kind of thing, we gonna asking them about the product in general. And in this case, after we asking them, they're gonna think about, okay, so after you think about this can be a good way for you. So what kind of brand gonna happen in your mind? So for example, in this case, the people is very suitable. The consumer also want to go in abroad, but then the brand in their mind, the top of mind is not Isaac. The top of mind is Wasili, for example. Then how we can solve it? Yeah, in this case, we can ask them about what's the most remember reward that you know about Isaac, or this kind of thing. Um, yeah, so we can you can based on from this example so that you can develop more questions. And then also from this way, because we also want to go deeper in the customer barrier, so we also asking them the barrier for them when they choose Isaac or when they don't choose Isaac, or when they choose to study in the country, or they want to have a non-formal education experience. based on the customer truth or brand truth that we just asked before. So in here we can have some question. Um, this kind of question is more like understand and talking with them as a friend to understand the brand and again, like how your college life, how it's going, do you have any plan in for your future, how your plan going, how do you think your plan can help you to develop and achieve the goal that you want. And then from here we can see, so how is the education. So in this case we need to explore more about the problem that they say above here. So for example, in here they say that so yeah, my plan is good, but then the problem that I have is I'm I don't have a good study experience, or I don't know what can I learn from the university. So in this case we're gonna go deeper in the problem that they have. It's like, okay, so if you say that it's not good, then why it's not good, or how do you think the university knowledge is enough then, and how you can, how is the environment of the friend in the university, for example. And then after this coupling we're gonna ask, okay, so after you they talk about this coupling, we're gonna ask about, so have you ever gone on abroad before, or do you have any intention to go on abroad. And then if we say in that there's one product of Isaac can help you to solve the concern or the problem that you are facing here, then how do you think. And then we're gonna ask about GV, or we can ask about GT and Isaac in general. And then how do they think about it, do they heard about it any before, for example, or what is the support from Isaac that make you don't choose Isaac or make you choose Isaac. So in this case, we can understand how we can improve our service and our way of doing marketing in general. Yeah. Okay. So, and this is some of the example of buyer persona for us. Yeah. Okay. So this is how we can do a focus group interview. So I think I can go directly to the questionnaire, the survey, so that you can ask in general at the same time to see what kind of way they can help you. So in buyer persona, um, in the buyer persona, to understand our customer, what we can understand is we can understand about the fact in the target market, the buying power, the demand for the product, the potential, the price. So in this case, it's gonna be the project pricing, the perception on the competitor or the impression of branding. So we can, based on the first assumption that we have about this segmentation. After we have the segmentation, we have some assumption about them, and then from this kind of assumption we can decide the question and choose what kind of question we want to ask. For example, in some case people is more about the assumption we have about this segmentation is they want to go and change everything is fit with our expectation, but then one of the things that barrier for them is the pricing. So we're gonna ask them more question about pricing to know what is the pricing range that we can use, for example. Okay, and from here, these are the questions that you can consider for a survey. So in a survey, you can start with the demographic question so that you can ask them about timeline, budget, um, living, year of studying, anything about the demographic, the income or the living budget, or you can ask about the fee of the school. So that from the fee you can estimate how many money they can afford, for example. And then based on that you can ask about the business question in general, like what kind of product or service that can appeal to your customer when they think about going exchange or this kind of thing. And we can also explore about a competitor, like, so when thinking about going approach or volunteer approach or internship approach, what are the what are the names that appear in your mind based on priority. So they can mention, oh, the first E was Lee, the second E Isaac, this kind of thing, and then blah blah blah. And we can, based on that we can ask some more follow question, like, okay, if you think about what sleep is better, is the first priority, then why, or why Isaac is in the top, in the middle priority. And then they can tell you the reason is the budget, the reason is that barrier them is the budget, the timeline, Like for example, Vasily can help us to give them a short term experience, and then I say in long term. So this is one of the barrier that compare us with the competitor. So that we can list down all of the factor that can affect to us and the competitor or the industry in general. Then we can ask the customer to tick, and we can see the key barrier that make us outstanding or make us not outstanding with the other service or other organization in the same industry. And then from here, then you can ask them about, okay, so how do you think about ISAC? Have you ever heard about ISAC? And then what do you think about it? What are the keywords? How do you associate with this? And then how do you, how in the scale of 10, how much do you trust ISAC, for example? Or have you ever experienced anything with ISAC and how the impression? What is the thing that ISAC can improve better, for example? And then you can ask question about product question. So in the product question, it's more about the information you provide for them, like what is the information you receive and what is the service that you received before, or do you have any expectation for the service or any expectation that we can have you to develop this, or do you think that expanding circuit or bros a good witness or a good thing for you, for example. So these are the 5 type of question that you can put in your survey, and depend on the thing here. For example, depend on the thing here that you want to explore more, then you can have more question deeper in certain thing. So for example, I want to understand more about pricing, then I can ask more about competitor and also the brand, for example, then I can understand better. Hmm? Yeah. So that's also the thing that all of my content. But then here I want to see if you have any question, or if you think that it's clear or it's good for you to make a decision or do any research. Yeah. So you can put type the question, or you can say on good. And also if you think it's on good, then you can also suggest what is the topic that you want to know more. So so that in the last week of May, when you already finished the survey and you already finished the focus group, then I can have a space to guiding for you on how you can facilitate the data analysis and report reading later on. Cool. So just type in here to let me know what is your opinion. We can have 5 minutes before we end the speak. Mm-mm. Any question? On good? Okay. No question. On good? Or you are thinking? I can let you have 1 minute to think. On good? Oh, cool. I'm good. Thanks. Okay. Thank you, guys. Also, if you are working on any kind of research and you have questions, then you can also send me the research that you have. Then I can help you to customize or give feedback on your research template. And there's no fixed way of doing research, so you can just do it in your way. Okay, cool. Okay. Okay, so the space. So just to sum up everything, before you do the research, right now I think May is the time that you need to do the research, and we need to do the research, of course. And if anyone have the concern for the rising new internship guide research, then you can also go to this link. I can put the link in this guideline. So in this guide, um, how you can find this guideline is when you go to this link. Is the including of on marketing initiative that we are running for the recovery of AB. So here we're gonna have the digital guide, community guide, and then this is the market research guide that we are talking so far. So you can click in here, and from here, what I can support for you is let's look at the big picture of the whole market research here. To the type that you think that you need to do research for GV and for GT. And from that, you can see how you can design everything. I if you have more topic or more concern that you want to know about some certain research, then what I can support for you is I can put the topic here. So if you want to know more about five sport, then I can have a simple step guiding about five sport, and I'm gonna put here so that you can come me and check it anytime. And then I also not gonna give you a very detailed thing, but then I think this is simple enough for you to understand how you can actually do it. And then you need to decide your own market research guide for your entity so that you can coordinate with OJEX and your LC to do the research. And from that, you need to have the you need to teach for them on how they can do the research. And based on the need of your entity, you need to see, for example, your entity need to do work more, or your entity need to do like besto more. Then you can decide how you want to transfer your market from that, and just implement it and just do the research. Um, and in the macro analysis, don't forget that you need to do the analysis with your objects for internal research, like the dropout, EP, the funnel, this kind of thing. And for the survey and for the focus group, how you can do this is I would suggest that you want to do survey first, and after you do survey, you have better assumption. And from after you do survey, you have some question that you want to understand better. Then you're gonna do focus group with these people so that you can have a deeper insight. And also it can help you to come up with the final big idea for the campaign that you're gonna do attraction. And yeah, so this is my suggestion, and that's all. Oh, there's some question here. When you recommend us to do survey and when for group, or should we do both? Yes, the question is I just answer your question. Very meet each other. Yeah, you do survey first. After you segmentation, you do the survey for significant segmentation that it fit. You don't need to do survey for everyone, but then choose the segment, like in a group, you choose four that suit you the best, and you do survey with them. After you do survey, they can tell you that, oh, I don't choose Isaac because Isaac I have some barrier based on this company, and from the barrier and the competitor, then you can conduct a focus group to ask deeper about why do you saying like this, or why do you choose this kind of option, what is the advantage of possibly, or how Isaac can improve us better. Yeah, so it can give you a better insight about everything. For the survey, I hope it's helpful for you, Sweta. For the survey, shall we direct represent outside Isaac or indirect using our name? Um, I think we can use ourselves as Isaac. Yeah. I would suggest Isaac, and then but at the same time, this is very important. We need to introduce ourselves as Isaac. We need to let them know the objective of this research, and we need to follow GDPR that we're gonna use this information just to review and understand about the service that we provide for you, and how we can provide a better um, uh, information for the customer to make decision. And we're not gonna share the information to anyone else, so that then customer can share the information. Because if you use personal name, then maybe they not feel trust to share the name. And also in some case, so last time when I do interview with Nelson, when I do with Nelson, we say that we are Isaac and Nelson, and and um and it's gain more trust for the customer, because yeah, we don't use brand survey, so people who know about us are not biased, and we also running YS. Yes, um I agree. Based on the segmentation, if anyone doesn't know about ASEC before, so maybe you can ask them about the general for the stranger. But then if you promote for the survey, because we also have the you speak survey on promotion, right? So I don't suggest you to promote for two survey at the same time. But then for the external people, we can utilize, or we can see another way that we can approach to interview them. Yeah. It is possible to only go online survey for market research. I think that for online survey, you can give it can only give for you the data. But from the data, what can be your solution? What is the root cause of the problem? Then you may not know. So from survey, we usually understand about the problem in general, and we know okay the most barrier, the most problem that when customer don't choose us is the fee. But then we don't understand about the root cause. We don't know about the pain and gain. So the pain and gain or the root cause is the thing that can help you to design a better marketing campaign and how you're gonna communicate with them, brand and communication strategy. So I would suggest you need to do both. But then for the focus group, if you want to do survey with them, you do interview with them, you can make it very simple. Like you don't need to interview with everyone, but you can choose from every segment. You can choose to ask around 10 people. And then if every LC, they can have you to do like every LC they do in focus group with 3 people, or they do focus group like 3 and then you can have like a pool of 10 to 15 people, and this can give you a cool quite good insight already. Yeah, so you can do it very simple. Just for first phase, I hope it's helpful for you. Okay, Carlos, just for first phase interview and focus group are always the best. Yes, agree. We hire that for interview. Agree. Yes. Cool. Okay, thanks guys. I think this may is finished here. If you have any question, you can also put the question here. If you have question, then you can open your mic and you can say goodbye to everyone. And we can finish the space. And also if you have any GCP that you want to share, you also can open your mic and share one thing that you have done and good thing that you want to share for other people. Okay. So let's open your mic and say. So you can say goodbye.
Goodbye, Nee.
Goodbye.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Thank
Bye.
you. All the best, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye. Bye bye, Carlos.